What's going on, Ambitious Vet? Welcome to episode number 78 of the Ambitious Vet Show with U.S. Navy veteran and founder of Vet2PM and co-founder of the Veteran Project Manager Mentor Alliance, Eric the Doc Wright. Welcome to the Ambitious Vet Podcast, where we believe that if you desire more than you have in any area of life, you have to become more in the process. Hi, my name is Chris Hoffman. I'm a Marine Corps combat veteran turned social entrepreneur, family man, and personal and professional development leader. On this show, I dive into the trenches with big thinking and conscious veterans who know what it takes to not only pay the bills after the military, but really live with a sense of purpose, satisfaction, and career fulfillment we all desire most after financial stability is no longer a challenge to overcome. Ambitious Vet, if you haven't already, grab your pen and paper. It's time to gain the golden grenades needed to break through your fear barriers and living a life of purpose with passion. Have you realized that having financial stability after your service is not actually as hard as you thought it would be? I mean, let's face it, resumes, interview prep, and translation of skills only get you so far in the first few years after your military service. Now, if you're listening to this and you're anything like me, after about 3 years and a couple careers later, you begin to feel unsatisfied, undervalued, and like you're feeling just misunderstood for being such a high performer in your current role. Now, you know I know this because I've been there, done that, and I have discovered thousands of other ambitious vets out there that feel the same exact way. So if you're ready to have your voice be heard and join a community of veterans who have participated in 4 countries now, including United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and the good old US of A, inside of our qualitative research study with the goal to uncover what your needs, wants, and desires are after financial stability is no longer a challenge to overcome anymore, I encourage you to click the link in the show notes right now and take a quick survey and be entered into a raffle of a $100 Amazon gift card. Not to mention, you're going to receive my free copy of my Amazon bestselling ebook, 10 Steps to Predicted Success Out of the Uniform. Ambitious Vet, if you're ready to go from where you are to where you want to go and accelerate that process, simply click the link to the survey below and share your voice now. What's going on, Ambitious Vet? So welcome to another episode of the Ambitious Vet Podcast. Just want to start out before we go ahead and dive into the interview by just thanking you for taking time out of your day, night, whenever you're listening to this and wherever you are over the globe. Just thank you for that. We know time is extremely valuable, and just thank you, as our commitment is to narrow the gap on where you're at to more career fulfillment, a sense of purpose, and just higher life satisfaction. Literally just feeling like you're living your best life now. That's what we're committed to. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the introduction of today's guest. Today's guest is going to be Eric Doc Wright. He is a U.S. Navy veteran and founder of Vet2PM and co-founder of the Veteran Project Manager Mentor Alliance. I met this guy at the last VIB Network Gov conference in San Diego of October of 2019. I just got to tell you, Ambitious Vet, this man's passion, his intensity, and his years of just going through the trials and errors of just really messing up to find out his passion, which he will share at the very beginning of this, that he turns passion into paychecks. And not a lot of people know how to do that because of a lot of different emotional and mental blocks, which he dives into and unpackages in a great way inside this interview. Here is a couple golden grenades I want you to listen for. One is refining your message on LinkedIn. Also, he breaks that down into key steps. He also talks about some brain hacks on how to shift your mind into an executive mindset and also operate from there so you create more career advancement and more increase in your life. And then also, he dives into some really cool ideas around how to refine your message to even do better social networking. Because remember, Ambitious Vet, social media is a tool to bring people from behind the wall of the internet in person. The best business is done in person. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to let Eric the Doc Wright work his magic. You're going to see that this man is a human golden grenade launcher. But don't take my word for it. Let's go ahead and dive in the trenches with Eric the Doc Wright. All right, Ambitious Vet, here we are back inside the trenches with a U.S. Navy veteran and founder of Vet2PM, Eric the Doc Wright. How you doing, Eric?
Yeah, I'm good, Chris. How are you?
Oh, man, blessed, man. It's an absolute honor to have you on the show. I know that I saw your keynote at the VIB Network late last year, and it was just your intensity, your confidence, and just your passion for what you're doing for the veteran community is palpable, tangible, and I'm just excited to unpackage that a little bit more inside this conversation. So thank you for being on.
Hey, you bet. It's my absolute honor and pleasure, man. And when you pitched it, when I was out there, and I think it was October, right? We were out there last October at VIB Network.
Yeah.
It just sounded like a really cool thing to do, man. So, big fan of what you're doing, and absolute honor to be on with you.
Perfect. Well, Eric, man, tell us in your own words, like, what do you do and what are you most passionate about in life right now?
So, I don't know that I'd have given you this answer before turning 50, brother, but here's the answer after turning 50 this a couple months ago. So I actually have figured out how to make my passion produce a paycheck. Now, I'm a big Mike Rowe fan. I'm not one of those, hey, go find your passion, right? If it means you don't get a paycheck, wander to Europe or whatever. Like, I'm a business guy, man. It's all about, making a paycheck, having the marketplace vote with their dollars, keeping the doors on, lights open, keeping your employees paid. That's a big responsibility, right? But I figured out how to do my passion and my purpose and marry it with a paycheck. So I'm a military veteran. I transitioned out of two different services, Gulf first back in the day, 90s, Operation Noble Eagle right after 9/11, man, still smoldering. Figured out that my transition sucked and maybe I slept through TAP class or whatever. I don't know. I just didn't get it. Right. So I get out and I did everything the experts said. I chased degrees. I chased certificates. I chased credentials. I chased, the next thing I was supposed to chase. And I finally got to the end of that road and I was like, man, I'm still making $40,000 a year. Nobody's ever going to marry me. Like, I'm a loser. I can't get out of my own head. And I don't know what the trick is. So you fast forward, 20 plus years, man, several degrees, several gigs, one at university, one at DOD, whatever. And I finally figured out, hey, man, my purpose in life is to wake up every morning and make sure that the veteran coming out behind me doesn't have a 12-year long shit transition. So that's what I do now is I fix that. Every day I wake up with the universe and I square off by saying, hey, look, so I'm going to help one military veteran achieve a meaningful, lucrative career today. And if I do that as a minimum, I earned my keep around this place for another 24 hours, right? And that way has seemed to be working for me for about the last 5.5 years, and success breeds success, and it's just becoming a snowball now.
Yeah, I love that. I love success breeds success, right? Waking up with an intention. I don't know how many days when I first got out of the Corps back in 2012, how I just woke up and was just like, hey, world, do me. Versus me getting out and doing the world with intention and declaring what it is that I wanted to do, brother. And you got out in the 90s and you didn't start doing like your formal education till like early 2000s and stuff like that, right? So I'm sure you probably hit some landmines along the way. So if you could just unpackage, like, what are some key landmines that you hit as you were building your personal brand, and also how did you overcome them?
So here's the biggest landmine I could tell anybody out there. And I know when somebody stands up in front of you in TAP, or your buddy who's been out for 3 months tells you, hey, do your LinkedIn profile. That's about as far as the depth goes. Or you get, hey, here's the top 15 things somebody's looking for on your LinkedIn profile. But man, this thing is a tool, brother. You got to learn how to cite that thing, set the elevation, account for windage. Like, how do you work this thing, right, to get it on an objective? So this is one of your golden grenades, right, is learn how to use LinkedIn. And I don't mean just build a profile. I mean, use that thing to identify companies and their values, identify employees inside those walls, connect with those people, and start to farm answers to your interview questions, to your resume questions, to your job questions. Develop that context. Think of LinkedIn as the digital ombudsman, man. You can mine it for information about the PCS station you're going to, right? And when I got in 1994, man, I mean, at that time, Vice President Gore was still creating the internet, brother. There was no such thing as LinkedIn, right? It was you and a resume and like, you know, could you talk the talk or not? So that's what I would say is learn to use LinkedIn, and I can give you guys some tactical tips on that. But that would be one of the biggest pitfalls. Learn to use LinkedIn and learn to use it effectively, which I think is where the rubber really meets the road.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. I mean, LinkedIn, I think last time I looked at the numbers is, you know, over 800,000 actual active users that are in the professional mindset, ready to do business with you, some shape or form are out there versus like a Facebook or an Instagram where, you know, people are just trying to figure out, hey, did you walk your dog today or something like that? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Would you eat for lunch and stuff like that? So I really like the whole idea of just, you know, even though LinkedIn can be slightly intimidating sometimes, you know, just jumping in, leaning in and stuff like that. So one thing that we were talking about before this interview, Eric, is how do you refine a message? And as you've been talking about LinkedIn, stuff like that, what would be like step one to refining your message to create more career advancement or even finding a lucrative career on LinkedIn?
So the way we've helped thousands of military veterans do it, and when I say veterans, I'm talking about transitioning service members and veterans. The reality is whether you retire or do one hitch or do 19 hitches or do however many you do, whatever, MOS, whatever, on the day you step out of uniform, we're all vets to the civilian workforce, right? So they don't distinguish between retirees and veterans and like whatever. So what I would say is when you step out, and what's the question again, Chris? I was trying to distinguish between the operational definitions.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So we were talking about refining the message, right? Refining the message. And just how do you, I would ask it in this way, right? So refining the message, right? I think a lot of us that are listen to this, or even myself, it took the first 3 years to even find financial stability in my life.
Right.
And then after that, it was just like, man, but I don't have any career fulfillment. I would like to advance, but I'm in a position that I can't potentially advance in. How do I refine my message to create more of a lucrative opportunity for myself, a little bit more career fulfillment, or just, get a little bit more opportunity in my life?
Yep. You need to, so, not to sound cliche, and I'm going to unpack how to do this tactically so it won't be a cliche. It won't just be a platitude, but you need to describe your narrative, and it needs to be in a tone and a tenor and with words that invoke emotion in the recipient, the listener, the hiring manager, the lending institution, for your entrepreneurial gig, whatever. So what's your story? So, Chris, here's who I am. Here's what I do. Here's who it helps and how it helps them. And, this is what's in it for them when we're all done, right? So I'm a military veteran. I'm a founder. I'm a keynote speaker. I'm now a #1 best-selling author on Amazon.
Yes.
And I use all of that experience, knowledge, skills, and abilities to do what? Simple. Help other military veterans achieve meaningful, lucrative careers. Right there, brother. If you get trapped with me on an elevator for 2 floors, you know who I am, what I do, why I do it, who I do it for, and what they can expect. Now, here's the beauty. Unlike an elevator pitch, it's not about me. I want to grow up and I want to work for this company and I want this title and I want whatever. It's not about you. It's about what you can do for the listener. So know your story, your value proposition statement. Here's who I am. Here's what I do. Here's why I do that. And here's what you can expect. Here's how you're going to benefit from taking a chance on me. Now, LinkedIn is a bullhorn for getting that message out. So how do you do that? Again, you got to take yourself out of this and you got to put, use the humility and stuff that was inculcated when we were in the service. You are not the hero of your story. You are the guide. You're Yoda, and the person you're talking to that you're going to put on steroids and really help blow their business up is the hero. Like when I met you in San Diego, you're the hero. You need something either to succeed or to avoid failure. I'm the guide. I've got a plan. Here's how you execute. Here's what you can expect in terms of success, and here's what you can expect in terms of avoiding failure. And as human beings, we're all wired to seek success and avoid failure. And oh, by the way, avoid failure is a much bigger monster in our minds. We would much rather just avoid loss, keep what we got, man. That's back from when we were, getting chased by saber-toothed tigers, right? Like, how do I find some berries and get some squirrel for the campfire and not lose it at night? Create a watch schedule and all that stuff. So create a value proposition statement, right? And then learn how to use LinkedIn to broadcast that sucker far wide 24/7 while you're sleeping.
Yeah, I love that. That's kind of like the speaker voice out to the world in this new connected age and stuff like that. And I love how you created a framework because, I'm a Marine. I like the acronyms. I like the BAMSIS, the JJ Tid Buckles. It gives me a framework to think from and inspires independent thinking inside the veteran community that, let's be quite frank, doesn't naturally think independently or creatively when they're first getting out because they're such institutionalized, in other words. So I find that, and just to speak up on your point, and Ambitious Vet, if you're listening to this, when you get out, how to build your economical value is understanding what that organization does need. What are their risks? What is their failure rate? What are they trying to increase the revenue, productivity per employee or something like that? And how can you do that cheaper, faster, or better? Isn't that what we learned in the GovCon conference that we were at?
That's right. Better, faster, cheaper. Better is scope, faster is schedule, and cheaper is the budget, baby.
That's awesome. I just love that whole perspective on how to communicate from a place that organization is the hero and you're just being a pawn in having them narrow their gap. So that's awesome. So now, Eric, going back over to you, I mean, you're doing a lot of great stuff inside the veteran community with Vet2PM. And from what I can see, just doing a lot of research on you and stuff like that is like, you're doing a great job as far as placing them into lucrative project manager roles. Why do you think that is a very easy transition for an ambitious vet that's even listening to this? It's just like, man, I'm a mid-level manager at this organization, but I'm just like not feeling fulfilled. I don't feel like I'm actually maximizing my talents and skill sets. Why do you think project management is such a good fit for a veteran?
Well, I'll start with project management and then I'll widen the aperture. And, so when we first started, our tagline, what we did for a living was we help military veterans become project managers. What we quickly realized after about 2-3 years of doing that is, hey, Eric, I went and got a great job as a project manager. I'm making $105, bought a new house, had a new baby. Life is great, dude. But brother, I want to be more. I want to do more. I mean, we're veterans, man. We're type A. We eat glass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want some of that adrenaline. You'll never do some of the stuff you did, right? And at the time, you couldn't believe you were doing it and you bitched and moaned the whole time. But now it's like, hey, man, that was really cool stuff. And those were really cool cats. So the trick for me is think about, what you liked about your service, what you didn't like about your service, what you like about what you're currently doing, what you don't like about it. So this is not easy. This is going to take some brain power. But, a nice scotch or a nice lager or a Diet Coke or whatever you drink, a lemonade, sit down, take 30, 45, 50 minutes, figure out who the heck you are and what's missing. You can basically draw a Venn diagram if you want, brother. Bubble on the left, bubble on the right, like this, like on the left or right. And then you come up with the list in the middle. And that's what you go after. That's the stuff you'll do even if you're not paid. That's how you seek meaning. That's how you get purpose and still get a paycheck though, right? You can be an entrepreneur and make huge differences to the company around you without having to take all the risk of being an entrepreneur, right? Like that's the sexiest thing you can do now. Hey, be an entrepreneur. What they don't tell you, brother, is the front of the brochure is one page. The small print on the back takes like 9 more pages, dude, right? Like they don't tell you about all the stuff that you're going to have to do as an entrepreneur. You only see, what's my favorite quote? I don't remember who said this, but it's one of the great motivational speakers. People, I think The Rock is now repackaged it, or maybe he said it originally, but people react to you like you're an overnight success. Oh my God, that Chris, he's amazing. He's an overnight success. And you are an overnight success, brother, but what they don't see is the 1,001 nights that you burnt the midnight oil all night, overnight, to be the Chris that they see today. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's true. I mean, late night sacrifice from the fiance, soon to be wife, and just all that, talking about refining your message, always getting back to the drawing board and seeing how you can impact on a deeper level. Focus on few versus the quantity is what our philosophy is right now. So yeah, it definitely is relevant. So that's awesome. But
Chris, real quick, brother, real quick. You said something that I really want to unpack for 1 second because it's really deep. When you're younger, when it's your career, when it's about the paycheck, when it's 1-to-1, right? Like, how do I get me? How do I get the person in front of me? How do I help? Man, when you start talking about, you cross that 50 threshold, or younger, if you're lucky and you figure all this out before you turn 50, 60, 70, it's really about one-to-many. How do I help one-to-many? So that's really what broke the ceiling for me. And I went from being a mid-level manager to being exec, to being mentored by executives, to being given time of day by executives, to becoming an executive. They think in terms of time, money, strategy, organization. They're not, when you're making decisions about you, your team, your department, your unit, if you're not thinking outside of that, hey, what's this do for the company? How's this help us in the marketplace? What's this do for our customer base? The execs are thinking about that stuff. So, dude, there's another golden grenade, bro. If you can learn to talk in terms of time, money, strategy, scope, first to market, first out of the way of the time bomb ticking, like whatever, execs can see that on you, smell that on you from 100 meters, man. Like, hey, Chris is pretty dang good at being that mid-level manager, but old boy kind of thinks like us, talks like us, acts like us, walks like us. He's looking at the horizon. He's about the organization. He's about the one-to-many. Man, executives, I'm telling you, they'll start paying attention. And when they start mentoring you, that's how you know you've made it. Now, don't run around the place doing a touchdown dance, brother. They'll fire you just as quick, right?
Yeah.
But pat yourself on the back and quiet on the way home saying, hey, man, if execs are paying attention to me, if they're starting to mentor me, I must be doing the right things. Keep doing those right things.
Yeah. And often what I hear from our audience too, that, listens this week by week is, yeah, they're just like, yeah, I mean, the executives may be talking to me and I see like a potential roadmap to my next promotion, but I just feel like a number, right? And that's like a big thing too, that I hear constantly from our audience is like, yeah, but I just feel like a number, and they're not feeling that deep camaraderie inside the organization. But I mean, I guess it is good when you are hearing, good things from higher executives. They're like, wow, this guy's pretty strategic. He can map out a next 3-month project what our expenses would be and potential ROI based on this tool, whatever, and break that down. So I love that whole idea. And Ambitious Vet, if you're listening to this and you are inside that position where you're starting to see your higher ups, people you look up to inside your organization saying, hey, they're speaking my language, I'm excited. Find ways to sit down with them, do a fireside chat and ask them, okay, where do I need to go based on this performance review to go to the next level? Or better yet, connect with Eric the Doc Wright and figure out how we can get you into a more lucrative career that maybe just better fitted for your strategic planning skills or something like that. So Eric, man, you've been dropping in tons of golden grenades so far inside this interview, and I absolutely love it because you spit off golden grenades when you're not even trying to spit off golden grenades. You're like a machine gun.
I'm a grenade launcher. Look at that, everybody.
Oh man, I'm like, wow.
Boom, 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 boom,
boom, boom. And I love it. So, I mean, if we could bring all of what we've been talking about so far and break it down into 3 golden grenades that could help impact, an ambitious vet that may be listening to this right now has financial stability but is lacking life satisfaction, that career fulfillment, or that sense of purpose that has them be living with that intention of, like you said, just waking up and just being like, hey, I'm going to impact this one person in this area. They're just not that clear on their mission. What would be 3 golden grenades that you would supply them right now?
Yep. First one is that value proposition statement, and in particular, how it takes care of the person you're talking to or the company you're talking to. That's selfless service. That's service first. And they don't see that much. That right there endears you. And then when you deliver on what you said you would deliver on, now they can trust you. right? Now you look different and you act different and you perform different than everybody else around them. And then I said LinkedIn was a bullhorn, right? Here's how you use LinkedIn. Here's how I have found it. So I've had multiple companies. The very first one, I never learned how to use LinkedIn, and it's still in a gulch on fire, like 14 exits back, dude, right? I drove it off the cliff and wrecked it. Okay. So first, segment your market, your target network. If it's a network full of people to help me and me help them, then we ought to be each other's biggest fans. So guys like you, I connect with anybody and everybody that's a veteran, anybody and everybody that's a business owner, especially if you're a veteran business owner, anybody and everybody that does financing, accounting, marketing, video content, people that can help me. So for example, if I'm in a keynote and I say, hey, vets, top 10 thing, that's what you saw in San Diego. Hey, top 10 thing, you need to have a video content guy. Well, guess what? You walk up to me afterwards, say, hey, dude, would you sign my book? And oh, by the way, when can you start doing my video content? I'm like, brother, I don't even know how to spell video content, dude. I don't do that for a living, right? Let me give you the name of my guy who does video content. Bang, you turn the card over, you write the stuff down, you hand them the card. Or let me give you a guy who's got a podcast that really can help you get your head straight when you're 3 years plus and you're in your civilian career, right? So make sure your network is full of, okay, here's another trick, dude. Chris, if you post something on LinkedIn and you realize 97 people interacted with it, scroll all the way to the bottom, find all the ones that are second connections. They already like your stuff, dude. They're already huge fans. Just send them a connect note. You don't even have to put a personal thing in there, dude. They already like your stuff. They know who you are. They know what you do. They know why you do it. They know what you're about because your value proposition story is very clearly laid out. They like your stuff. They want to connect. Reach out to them. They connect back. That's when the personal conversation starts. Hey, Chris, thanks for connecting with me, brother. I really appreciate it. What did you really like about that thing? What else can I be doing for you? Now you're serving others and they're telling hey man, you got to listen to this podcast, dude. It's crazy. You're going to love it, right? So that's the second golden grenade is segment that network and only let folks in that you can help or that can help you, right? And then the third one is, and this one kind of, one of the biggest challenges I see from folks in the transition is we don't learn to talk about ourselves individually very well. We don't ask for help. We don't ask, we expect feedback. Hey, we're all adults. You'll give me feedback, usually at the end of a knife hand, like whatever. Civilians don't do it like that. We just ignore you, right? If you're a non-performer, we just ignore you, right? We wait till you get yourself fired and then we go hire somebody else, right? And we don't fail, right? I'm going to do mission, like I'll get it done or I'll die trying or whatever. That stuff is great. But if you're drinking poison every day and you're feeling kind of ill and you're feeling like you're going to check out soon, then stop drinking the poison. It doesn't make you a quitter. It doesn't make you a give-upper. It doesn't make you all that stuff that we were, near borderline brainwashed to believe.
Right.
In business, time, effort, money, do I get a return? For example, everything I do at my company, and everybody knows, anytime they pitch me anything, they know I'm going to ask them one question up top. Does it help me help a veteran achieve a meaningful, lucrative career? If you don't have a resounding, immediate yes, you're done. And if I start peppering you with questions, it's going to be even worse. It's going to be an arduous 20 minutes, right? So fail forward fast. Hey, here's what I think we should be doing. Here's why I think we should be doing it. Here's my schedule. Here's my resource set. Here's my metrics. Here's how I'll know whether it worked or not. And then go do it. When you pull it off, there's some meaning and purpose, brother. You're back in the fight. You're making a difference to the organization around you. You're making them better. You're a force multiplier. Civilians don't have a word for that, dude, but they know it when they see it. And if you're a force multiplier, they love you. They will stack up behind you because somebody around here has a plan, right? And they want to be around successful people. So that's what I would say is fail forward fast. Hey, I either learned something or I succeeded, and now they're going to pitch me a faster ball so I can swing harder, so I can hit it farther over the fence the next time I'm in the box, period.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Like I said, you are an M16 of golden grenades, man. And I really love the whole segment in your email. I think a lot of people focus on vanity metrics. I have 25,000 connections on LinkedIn, but then as soon as you approve someone connecting you, then all of a sudden you got all this spam messaging coming in and you don't even know how you can potentially do business together. And it just always shocks my mind that people aren't doing more, screening or more vetted processes with people, people coming inside their connection. So I just love how you are constantly always inspecting, digging for the gold for every connection, like screening that out like a sponge. Because if they are who they say they are, they'll jump on a phone call and you create some kind of business opportunity right there. It's crazy, man, because I recently just had that mindset switch for me. I read this book called Money and You. I don't know if you ever read it, but it gets down to the source of like just your scarcity mindset, which I find a lot of veterans that are ambitious dive into in the first few years. They're just trying to make money, right? And figuring out how to keep it coming in consistently. And this book did a great job as far as just having me, figure out that everything that we need to forward our life, success, resources, opportunities, cash, stuff like that's right in front of us. And you just validated that whole idea with just like, okay, look at the people that are engaging with you already, connect with them, jump on a call with them, ask them what they liked and where we can go and work together and stuff like that. And I think something as simple as that is what veterans that are ambitious are not doing, that costs little to no money, but they're just not willing to do it because they're afraid that they don't have anything to offer. They don't know how to speak for themselves. So I just love that. Eric, man, I mean, how can people come and figure out more about what you're doing with all your initiatives, hire you to speak, and even buy that Amazon best-selling book that you've written?
Yeah, game changer. So, and I'm a contributing author. My solo book is coming out in April. Got some heavy hitters, contributing authors in there as well. So basically, Doc Wright is my handle. So you can find me at LinkedIn. I'm big on LinkedIn, right? That's where most of my business comes from. That's where most of the value is. I'm a business guy. I don't know how to spell Instagram. I don't know where to find a Fiverr. I don't snap tweet anything. So I'm a LinkedIn guy, right? I'm a business guy. So LinkedIn, Eric Doc Wright. No, the doc is not, I was not a fleet corpsman. There was in my 30-something year wandering in the job desert, 12 years in the job desert specifically, but wandering through multiple career makeovers since. There was a PhD in finance somewhere along the way. It's all a blur now, but so that's where the doc comes from. But Eric Doc Wright on LinkedIn. You also can visit vets2pm.com. And that's where a lot of the books are. It's where a lot of links to the YouTube channel are. And the YouTube channel is basically 4 playlists with tons of videos, working on videos every day, trying to get good at this video stuff. Because the reality is too, here's another golden grenade for you and every other entrepreneur on here. Man, the last long article I posted, brother, 82 views, and one of them was my mom, dude. I post a video. I'm serious, dude. I post a video, 6, 8, 10, 15,000 views, brother. And again, dude, it's not because, oh my God, look, it's Eric Superstar. It's, hey, look, there's Doc. And my network is full of people who like to see stuff that I do. And I love to see stuff they do. When you put out a podcast, when you put out something on LinkedIn, dude, I look at it, I respond to it, I like it, I interact with it. Why? Because I'm a big Chris Hoffman fan. Why wouldn't I do it, right? Yeah. And dude, that's where you really start to get synergy. That's where 30,000 connections can turn into, Seth Godin, you mentioned, that's your tribe. 30,000 people, they're all talking about you, bro. That's a couple million in free advertising.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And, you're doing great with the whole video marketing. I think you hired a crane eater for that, didn't you?
I did, brother. You had him on. He's Rich Cardona, dude. Those guys are great.
Oh, Rich is amazing. And no, just Ambitious Vet, if you get a chance, one of my personal favorites of the 1-minute video clips that Eric the Doc Wright has been creating is the imposter syndrome. And there was this one video that you did that was just like, I get in and I get out before they even figure me out. And that's just such a great brain hack that I'm just like, oh man, yeah, I just need to get in and get out, one shot, one kill, and then get out. So Eric, man, I just want to acknowledge you for who you are for our community as a whole, man. You consistently show that you are the example that if you just persevere, consistently inspect current opportunities and always seek for more, success is on the other side of that, man. So thank you for being inside the Ambitious Vet with us today.
Right on, Chris. Thanks, brother.
Well, there you have it, Ambitious Vet, episode number 78 of the Ambitious Vet Show with Eric the Doc Wright. If you haven't already, Ambitious Vet, go subscribe, rate, review the podcast so you are getting the golden grenades you need to to break through your weekly fear barriers to impact your career, your life, your business this next week. Also, if you got just one golden grenade from this episode with Eric the Doc Wright and myself, go and share this on your social media. Share it with your network. Tag us, and I promise you, I will engage with that. And let me know how you're going to implement that golden grenade in your life next week. But until next time, Ambitious Vet, hold the vision and trust the process. Take care.